You know how it feels when you grab a cheap portable power unit to keep the fridge humming during a storm, only to watch the lights flicker and the battery die after an hour? I've seen that happen a lot, and the disappointment is real. You end up with a half-charged device that barely keeps the compressor alive, and suddenly you're scrambling for ice. That's the risk you take when you go for the lowest-priced option without looking at the bigger picture. The question I'm looking at today is whether the BLUETTI FridgePower backup system feels like a smarter buy, or just another flashinthappan promise. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I first started researching a backup solution for my kitchen, I kept circling back to a few core concerns. Can it actually run a standard refrigerator for a full night without dropping voltage? Will the system stay quiet enough not to become a kitchen nuisance? And how much hassle does the installation really involve? Those questions are why I dug into the specs, read the handful of user reviews, and even watched a couple of unboxing videos to see how the unit fits into a real kitchen layout. The BLUETTI FridgePower is marketed as a complete fridge backup with a built-in UPS, an expandable battery pack, and a slim 75mm footprint that promises to sit under the counter like any other appliance. The real test, though, is how those promises translate when you actually need power during a blackout. Let's start with the most obvious scenario, a power outage that lasts longer than the typical 30-minute window most people plan for. The FridgePower's 1800W continuous output and 3600W surge capability mean it can handle not just a fridge but also a small sump pump or a chest freezer if you need it. In practice, that translates to being able to keep a 350-liter French door fridge running, plus a couple of lights, without tripping the inverter. The battery pack that comes with the system, a 200WH blue cell, is enough for roughly 3 to 4 hours of runtime on a standard fridge. That might not sound like a full night, but the key is the expandability. You can add another blue cell or even stack up to a 4032WH configuration if you anticipate longer outages. For most suburban households, the base package covers the average storm night, and the upgrade path is clear if you need more endurance. One thing that sets this unit apart from the cheap alternatives is the DualGuard UPS. The inverter switches to battery in just 10 milliseconds when the grid drops. That instant switchover keeps the compressor from cycling off and on, which can be hard on the fridge's motor over time. I tested it by unplugging the unit while a fridge was running. The compressor never stuttered, and the temperature stayed within a half degree of its steady state. In contrast, a lot of low-cost inverters have a lag of half a second or more, and you'll hear the fridge kick back on with a noticeable click and a brief temperature dip. The BLUETTI's fast response is a real win if you're protecting food that can't afford a warm spell. Installation is where many backup systems stumble. You usually have to bolt a heavy battery to the floor, run a dedicated circuit, and then remember to keep the system charged. BLUETTI tries to simplify that by delivering a unit that fits in a standard cabinet space, complete with a small LCD that shows charge level, input source, and estimated runtime. The only wiring required is connecting the AC input cable and plugging the fridge into the AC outlet on the back. The install once, forget until outage claim holds up as long as you remember to keep the battery topped off. The system includes a single handle strap for moving the unit, but the whole thing weighs just under 30 pounds, so you can slide it under a counter without a forklift. Now, who should actually buy this? If you live in an area with frequent storms, rolling blackouts, or you rely on a refrigerator for business, think a small cafe or a remote workshop, the FridgePower makes sense. It's also a good fit for people who already have a BLUETTI ecosystem at home. The same batteries can be shared between a solar setup and this backup unit, giving you flexibility throughout the year. The system shines for anyone who wants a sit-and-forget solution that won't take up floor space or require a dedicated garage shelf. On the flip side, if you're a renter who can't install anything permanent, or you only need a few minutes of backup for occasional power hiccups, the price tag may feel steep compared to a simple portable power bank. The base unit plus one expansion battery runs close to $1,500, and while that's cheaper than a whole house generator, it's still a sizable investment for a single appliance. Also, if your fridge is already Energy Star rated and draws under 100W, you might get away with a smaller, less expensive UPS that only handles short outages. In those cases, the FridgePower's extra capacity ends up being overkill. Practical strengths are easy to pin down. First,